Now, Simon, you know what's most obvious to me is the immense amount of passion that you bring to everything that you seem to be doing right now, including this conversation.
Yes.
And one of the questions I had prepared to ask you was around contagious optimism. And
Yes.
your optimism is definitely contagious, and I'm getting it right now. So
Good.
tell me, what is it, and how do you tap into that fountain?
Yes. Well, if you think about it, according to dictionary.com, optimism is a person who constantly expects the best. If you look at the word pessimism in dictionary.com, it's a person, as you know, who constantly expects the worst. So, if I intend to be contagious, I have to choose, am I optimistic or pessimistic? Now, when I am a person who is a contagious optimist, I have a way of getting up in the morning and say, I choose to think today is going to be a great day. No matter what comes, come hell or high water, today is going to be a great day. Now, the pessimist becomes an annoying pessimist because the moment something happens, well, you know what, it never works out, or, you know, that always happens to me, or they just all of a sudden just kind of go down this path, and all of the tape recorders in their head start to pick up on, this always happens to me because it's happened before, and it just takes them down a path where they become negative, and then people don't want to be around them. So what I decided, and now let me be totally clear, there have been days when I have not felt very optimistic. There have been days when I have not felt happy or excited about the future, and those are the days when I've had to grab myself by the shirt collar and drag myself into the future and say, self, you will be happy, and you will see the brighter side of everything, because it doesn't help if you're out teaching brilliance and you're not operating in brilliance, or you're acting half brilliant. You know what I'm saying? And so I literally every day have to choose the attitude that I have, because that attitude impacts my behavior, it impacts my results, it impacts my connections and my relationships, so I choose to be this way every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, we're talking to Simon T. Bailey, extraordinary speaker and brilliant author of the book, Release Your Brilliance. Now, one last question, actually maybe a couple more questions, Simon. What I'm feeling from you is not just the contagious optimism, but a boatload of confidence as well. And you've written about it in an article that I've read as confidence being the X factor in our success. Can you talk to that a little bit, please?
Yeah, confidence is that thing that separates a person with the technical ability and a person with what I would call the finesse or understanding how to maximize a moment. A person with confidence will show up and walk into a room and will work the entire room and will have a fistful of business cards by the end of the evening. That will be the person who will follow up and will get the job, get the promotion, get the contract, whatever that might be. Because it's their confidence that becomes the door opener that people want to connect to a person who acts confident, who acts like a winner, who acts like it's already done. For instance, most recently, Tiger Woods has won his first tournament since returning, the Bay Hill Classic. And as you look at and it was, of course, in dramatic fashion. When the day started, he was 5 shots behind. But by the end of the day, he closed the gap, and he won on the 18th hole by hitting a 16-foot shot for a birdie to win the tournament by 1 stroke. Now, what's interesting, what allowed him to do that? It's because he had confidently practiced time and time again for that moment. So when the moment showed up, his confidence carried him through to follow through what he had fundamentally already been practicing. So when he hit the putt, it was just like he was on the green, by himself and not millions of eyeballs watching him over the television screen. Of course, thousands of people in the gallery. He just kind of hit the shot because he knew it was going to go in. He knew. He had practiced it. He confidently did it. Now, what's interesting is the person that had the lead during the day, the person had hit a bogey on the 16th hole, and his confidence went downhill from there. Because here he is with the greatest player in the world, and as you know, golf is a mental game. So mentally, you have to be mentally prepared and mentally say, I'm going to walk in this room or I'm going to hit this putt, and it's going to sink because I have prepared for this moment. My confidence has got me to that level. And sure enough, it's not to say the guy who had the lead going into the day was not a good person. He just didn't have the mental confidence to believe that he could win. So all of a sudden, you have a person who's mentally tough and mentally prepared who just remains cool the entire time, walks up, hits the putt, and it sinks. And, of course, in dramatic fashion, he pumps his fist, and it totally psychs you out. I mean, what do you say?
Wow.
You're like, yeah. But
wow, indeed.
Is that, yeah. And here's the thing. Here's the last thought. A recession happens when people lose confidence in the future. And one of the things that's happening right now in our country, in the United States, is, and certainly around the world, is people have lost confidence in the future. So they've closed their wallet, they're not writing checks, they're not spending money, and because people are like, I've got to hold on. The people who operate in confidence, those are the people that we will be reading about in the next year, 2, 3, 4 years, because they took risk during these opportunities, and they rode the wave. So when things have turned around, they were the ones that said, I had the confidence, I had the ability to dig deep